Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
We have some fun times ahead of us today. I'm Renee Park. I am your outgoing chair. I'm still the current chair, but I only have just a few more duties left. We want to thank 1025 Church for allowing us to come here and do our lunches and be able to social distance. We also want to say some extra prayers for Pastor Tommy. He's not doing very well right now, and hopefully he's on the upward mend. He is on the upward mend, so that's prayers really do work. We have Joseph Leach, who is going to come lead us in the prayer and the pledge, and it says right here that most people call you JoJo.
That's right. Thank you so much. Hey, we want to welcome you here to 1025 Church. We're excited that we are able to partner with the Chamber and be able to host this event. We are one of the venues in town. We're able to social distance, so we encourage you guys to do that. Wear your mask while you're here. Brother Tommy is doing much better. He was able to come home, and they've given him some oxygen to help him breathe as well at home. Now, his wife was sent to the hospital the same day that he came home. And so if you'll remember both of them in your prayers, she just, basically her oxygen levels dropped below 90. The doctor said once it gets to that point, I want you to come in. And so that's where we're at. And so I'm going to pray for you, and then we will do the pledge. Or is it that order? How do we do this?
Well, we do prayer and pledge, but my mom said...
Well, they're going to put it up on the screen for us, I believe is the plan. But I'm going to pray, and then we'll pledge together, and then I'll get out of your way, and y'all can have everything you need. Let's pray. Father, we love you, and we are so thankful, God, that you have just taken care of us. This has been a crazy year, but you're still in control. And God, you have blessed us beyond all measure, Lord. I pray that as we go through this event today, that you will continue to bless each person in the room, that you'll be with the businesses that are here, that you would just allow them to have a productive conclusion to 2020, but also, God, I pray that you would just go ahead and unleash your hand of blessing upon them as they embark on their journey going into 2021. Lord, we love you. We thank you for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen. If you'll stand with me. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
I really need one of those little headset microphones because this like is crazy here. But we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Burrell Roofing. Let's give away while we're here. Yay! We also want to thank them. Who in here has driven by the new chamber office building? All right. We have a new roof thanks to Burrell Roofing, and we certainly appreciate that. It's beautiful. So if you haven't been by there, go by and look at it. Facebook. We want to thank Facebook. And we also want to thank Piedmont Walton. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Okay, Katie Comer from Facebook has sent us a commercial, so I'm going to ask Miss Dawn if she will play that for us now.
Hello, my name is Katie Comer, and I serve as Facebook's Community Development Regional Manager for the Southeast. And we are so excited to be sponsoring the Walton County Chamber's Business Luncheon today, featuring Chairman Kevin Little for the State of the County address. At Facebook, our mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And we could not be more proud to call the Stanton Springs community home. I know that 2020 has been so challenging for individuals, families, and small businesses like yourself. At Facebook, we stepped up in March to partner with our school systems, like Social Circle City Schools, to provide donations so that they could purchase Chromebooks and Wi-Fi devices and materials that they needed so that students could continue to learn at home. We also worked with our wonderful Chamber of Commerces, like the Walton County Chamber, to be able to provide donations so that they could give out small business grants for those businesses struggling to stay open. I know that 2020 has been challenging for us all, but when I think of 2020, I like to focus on the good things. I think about in August when Facebook made the announcement that we would be expanding and growing our data center in Stanton Springs to equal a $1 billion investment for the wonderful state of Georgia. I think about the jobs that that's going to provide and the economic impact we're going to make in the communities where we live and we work. I know that 2020 has been challenging, but when I think to 2021, there are two things that I know will stay constant. And that is that Facebook will continue to connect people around the globe and that Walton County will continue to be Walton strong. I hope that you and your family have a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you in 2021. A special thanks to Chairman Kevin Little for his support with the Joint Development Authority in Stanton Springs and to the Walton County Chamber of Commerce for all that you do to support the work at Facebook. From the bottom of our hearts at Facebook, we wish you and your family a very happy holiday season. Thank you for allowing us to call this wonderful community home.
We also have Miss Heather Boyce. She's going to come up here and give a few words about Piedmont Walton. And thank you again for all your sponsorships.
I think I need one of those things too. Let's see, there we go. Hey everybody, I'm Heather Boyce. I'm the Community Relations Manager at Piedmont Walton Hospital, and it's an honor to be here today to be able to sponsor this event. Especially since this is Kevin's last time. So we're glad to be here, and I also wanted to just thank everyone so much for the outpouring of support that we've received at the hospital these past several months. I know it's been crazy for everyone, and we're still providing the same level of care that we were at the beginning. So thank you for your support, especially over these last few months. I started the Adopt a Healthcare Worker program, and I see many faces in the room that adopted some of our healthcare workers, and the cards and encouraging notes that are coming in for them is really making a difference and lifting their spirits. So we appreciate that, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Okay, today we are excited to have our annual State of the County program for you with our very own chairman, Kevin Little. Kevin has served Walton County for 20 years, and we are so proud to call him our friend. Come on up, Kevin.
I may have to split the difference of this microphone between Heather and Heavy there. So, boy, it's been a while since I've been on stage and sang in front of this many lights. Oh, I'm not singing, right? That's not what I'm doing. I'm gonna move this off to the side a little bit, so I'll have to look up there also. If you didn't pick up one of these when you come in the door, that almost made me cry. I'm not gonna cry, but if you didn't pick up one of these, they kept this secret from me. So thank you, Patrice. You've done a great job. Shane, wherever y'all are. I know y'all put this together, and then there's the garbage that I knew that was in there. But I'll be talking about that here in just a little bit. So anyway, again, I'd like to thank Piedmont Walton, Burrell Roofing, and Facebook for sponsoring this event. It's always been exciting that companies and things are willing to step up and sponsor the events that we have with the Chamber. Terry, I'd like to thank you with the Chamber for what all y'all do for the county, and Walton County is very proud to be where we are, and a lot of that rests on your shoulders, Terry, so thank you. As they were saying earlier, it is my last state of the county, and actually, as far as I know, unless something drastically changes in the next 3 weeks, this is the last time I'll be on stage, except for I won't be on stage at my reception here next Thursday, so I'll just be I told them it'd probably have, with the COVID, it'd probably have to be like a funeral home line, we'd have to stand there and bust fists as people come by, so I don't know. I planned a 3.5-hour final goodbye, and I whittled and whittled and whittled and whittled, and I think I got it down to about 5 minutes. I told Patrice, but I realized Patrice is not going to be flipping it, so we might be flipping pretty quick today. So let's come on, let's go to the next. Flip it to the next. Go on to the next one. One more. There we go. Dr. Franklin, this is no downfall on the Board of Education of the schools, but when I first got elected, people complained all the time about their property taxes. And I was 34 years old, and I was like, dang, how am I going to get reelected? And I said, I got to make folks understand what's going on. So we started looking at this way back then, and for every $1,000, the county government side gets $340. I guess that'd be right if my math is right. But it's no shine on Walton County schools. They do a great job, and the thing is what I looked at is nobody ever goes and complains to the Board of Education about the taxes. They always come to our place and complain about taxes, and so it's always easy when they're voting to tell them about that. But Walton County, I'm from Walton County, and so Walton County education is good. It's just a clarity for people that really don't understand. So we'll go to the next one. Something that I'm really, really proud of is that Walton County has had a fund balance of over $20 million. We did dip below it 1 year there in 2018. To have a $20 million fund balance, and we've had an average of around 50 to 56, a little over $50 million budget throughout that time. And so whenever you can have a fund balance to fall back on, there were counties that touched us during the last recession that didn't have a fund balance, or they were down to very, very few dollars in their fund balance. And so we're required by our bond raters to have about $15 million in our fund balance. So it's nice to have that extra. And you'll notice this. Oh, back up one. Notice the $27 million. Y'all heard of a little word called COVID-19. We spent more money in Walton County this past year than we've spent, if you see, in the last 20 years. We spent a lot of money here, plus we didn't actually roll the millage rate back, and still done really well in the county. So that's something the chamber has always talked about, and everybody, when we're at home ordering and going to pick up locally, it's amazing what we can do if we spend all our money in Walton County and not in Athens Clark or at Oak Company or at Barrow or somewhere like that. It's nice to see what the dollars would do if we spent, and that's not all, that's extra $7 million does not all come from that, but it's COVID related where we didn't outshop, you didn't travel a long way away to do that. And so, but now we can go to the revenue. Revenues in the county, around $58 million this year. They were up a good bit as well. And we'll go on to the expenditure. Next, $49 million is what we spent, what we're gonna be spending, and that's a little COVID related. We received some CARES Act funding that didn't have to pay for some of the employees, but a lot of the expenditures we didn't pave a lot of roads that we normally do. We usually pave a lot more than we did this past year. Saved several $1 million there. It really didn't save. This just put us a little farther behind. But we couldn't do it because of COVID related, that had crews not in the offices and stuff like that. Move to the next file. this is something that I'll leave very proud, is to be big A, little A2, and big double A minus as our bond rating. There's a lot of counties in the state of Georgia would love to be close to where we are with our ratings, and so this is one of the things that I would say that we needed to keep $15 million in our fund balance, because that's the bonders. And when you go to New York and you sit down with those bond rating agencies, they don't care who you are, they don't care where you come from, they don't care. All they do is looking at numbers. And I'm not a numbers person, and so but when they looked at our numbers and saw where we were at, and said what was going on, they continued to give us the high bond rating. I think Gwinnett County's AAA, state of Georgia's AAA, so we're just right under there, and so that's it. This is the observation of how we have got the ratings. We got fund balances in the general fund, utility funds remain very sound. The county has debt capacity for future long-term capital projects and economic development purposes. All right, we'll move. Oh, I can see back there. Look at there. I don't have to look around no more. I ain't been learning something if you pay attention. Thank you. All right, I didn't even know that. You know, our screen in our church is our back screen is out. We got to get it replaced. And so when I'm in the choir singing now, I don't turn and look off to the side. I have to actually pull the hymnal out. Nobody don't know how to do that anymore, right? You know how to pull the hymnal out and sing. I stand here today telling you that I'm very proud of the department heads that we have in Walton County. I'll put our department heads and our county employees up against anybody in the state of Georgia. We got a very loyal group of employees dedicated to the county, dedicated to you, the citizens, to give you the best bang for your dollar. They're not out here blowing you money. They're making sure that they are doing what's done for you at the lowest dollar amount that they can do. Animal control is the first one. You see all the numbers there. I think it's really nice that 895 dogs or cats were rehomed, and then 223,000 were reunited with their owners. That's very, very good. Sean Morris, Bill Wise stepped back, and Sean Morris is our animal control director, and he had been with the county for 20 plus years, and he's doing a great job down there at the animal control. We'll go to the next one. Look at there. I can see it move. I won't have to turn back. I can keep watch the live y'all from now on. Okay. Public Works, John Allman and Ray Johnson. That's probably one of the stressful jobs in the county, because everybody calls when they hit a pothole. They call when the bushes is in their way, and then they call just to be calling. But they paved 17 miles this year. Normally we pave it about in the 30 plus range, and so you look down through there, a lot of work orders. This is all in the state of the county book, and so very proud of the staff and the crew at our Public Works and Roads and Bridges department. We'll go to the water. Morris Jordan and his staff at the water department. We about a third of the county is on county water. We still have a lot of rural county that don't have public water, and the cities do reach out in some of the county areas to take care of that. So Circle, Monroe, and Loganville, but they do a good job. And Hard Labor Creek is full, as it has been in a while. So someday they'll be able to build a water treatment facility down there and tap it to be able to provide water to the rest of the county or anybody that we need coming in. Okay, we'll go to the recycling center. Kenny Sargent. This is something that we all need to be doing. We carry the Leadership Walton class down every year to the recycle center down on Leroy Anderson Road. The plastic jugs that you throw in your trash, they need them in North Georgia for the carpet mills. They have to import plastic to Georgia because we throw it all away. It's something that I've done for a long time. I've raised my family. We have little separate things where we put our plastic jugs and our tin cans. If all of you would just set your New Year's resolution of January 1 to just save the plastic jugs for next year, it would go a long way to help out everybody. But recycling is is really good, and we should do all we could to try to save that for our future people, because that plastic in your landfill, when we're all about 250 and we go dig it up, it'll still be there. I don't think it goes away anytime soon. But education, they do a lot with education on the children on that. Planning and zoning. Sharna Parker has just taken over as the new department head there. I told her when I was appointing her that unless things drastically change, she would be the last department head that I ever appointed, and we're glad to have Sharna heading our planning and zoning department. Over the next 4 or 5 years, this is probably going to be a hot department, because I see Walton County continuing to grow and get stronger, and we're just a hotbed. We're convenient to everywhere. That's what I've told everybody for a lot of years, that Walton County is convenient. Anywhere you want to go, we're right here. Poof, you can be there. So appreciate y'all do a great job and keep that going. Parks and Recreation. Jody Johnson is our Parks and Recreation Director. We have community centers around the county. We're building a new one down in Social Circle we broke ground for. The current splice also funds a community center in Walnut Grove. Should be built within the next couple of years, or should be started on in the next couple of years. We had talked about back in the early 2000s that we wanted to provide parks and recreation. We didn't care whether you were 0 or whether you were 100. And so if you hadn't been to a senior aerobics in some of these gyms, you need to go to it. And if you are a senior and you want to be aerobicized, you need to go there, because it is a grand event at the gyms in Loganville and the gyms here in Monroe. During COVID, those senior citizens were calling Parks and Recreation. We got to get back. So Valerie, she broke it up into 3 or 4 segments to where everybody could be socially distanced. And I can't imagine that she's having to do aerobics like 3 times in a day and then go do it 3 more times the next day. But she wanted to make the citizens to be able to do their senior aerobics. This was a big deal. So we cover everything from stick and ball sports all the way up. And I always felt like if we could take care of our children and get them pointed in the right direction, keep them tied up, that we would do very well. And so Public safety, the Sheriff's Department, they work very hard throughout the county. Law enforcement over the last several years, your federal government and your federal leaders started a long time ago down in the law enforcement, and we should be praising our law enforcement. They're here to protect us. And my problem is I was raised that if Daddy told you not to do something and you did it, he spanked your tail. So if the laws tell you not to do something and you do it, then you're wrong. And I don't understand where this country flipped that, and right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't think a police officer just goes out and says, hey, I'm going to get you just for fun of it. So, we need to get back in the country that right is right and wrong is wrong. But our Sheriff's Department law enforcement does a great job to try to keep peace and keep calmness in Walton County. And I think we are probably very safe. And I think everybody probably feels safe in Walton County from when I see people out walking and jogging and doing all that. I think they feel very safe. Our EMS department, Ronnie Allman, he's got a good staff of paramedics and EMTs that are quick to respond to you. New chairman was elected over in Newton County a couple of years ago, and Grady Memorial Hospital come down. They were going to want to take over the ambulance service there, and he was probably. He was a few days in as chairman, and he said, well, it's going to save me about $1 million. And I said, Mr. Chairman, if you or your family is laying out there in a heart attack or a stroke, I said, do you want somebody who just you don't know how they're trained to come to get you, or you want somebody that you're paid to? So I'm a firm believer in Walton EMS and keeping your own ambulance service. That way I know we got top quality trained paramedics and EMTs coming, because seconds, minutes, or whatever is life or death. And so if they're there, they're well trained to go take care of it. Fire department, Kevin Haney and Craig Lee and staff there, they're just grand. We have built our fire department a long ways over the 20 years. As I talked at the last Board of Commissioners meeting, we built 5 new fire stations over these last 20 years. When I got elected back in early 2000, and took office in 2001, we were still about a half volunteer fire department. And so, and as you grow and become a more urbanized area, the volunteers kind of go away, so you don't have volunteers. And so Mike Moore, prior to Chief Haney, was our fire chief, and we worked very well together. They have a thing called a manpower squad. We worked hard to get one person in every fire station. Back in the early days, my thought was is if you're a volunteer fire station, then for instance, at Good Hope, whoever's a volunteer on call that night, if your house catches on fire, they got to get up out of their bed. They got to go to the fire station, get the fire truck by themselves and drive it out there. So what we done was we worked to get one person in each fire station all the way around the county where they at least could bring the equipment out for the volunteers and the other people coming. So that's where we are. We're beyond that. We almost have more than one person in every fire station now, and so we've got good response time. We have manpower squads around the county that whenever there's a call, they're rolling to that area, so they're not going to be there. This is also another great relationship that we have with all the cities, City of Social Circle, City of Loganville, City of Monroe. They roll out into the county, we roll into the city. We just want to save lives, we just want to save property and all that, so we all work very well together because it's all, at the end, it's all your tax dollars. And so if we can save your house or we can save your life, that's what our #1 goal is. And so that's important. Windra, 911, it all starts right there. Is this public safety or not? I don't know. People have a hard time deciding whether 911 is public safety.
It is.
If you pick up the phone and you call 911, you want an answer, right? And so, you know, back used to, we had to call 267-555-45 to get the fire, 267-2000 to get the ambulance, 267-6556, right? How good did I do on that memory? How many of you know your own daughter's cell phone number or your own son's? I do. But I can still remember those numbers we had to call way back when. But I've always told Windra, they got a thankless job. I mean, until the TV come along and they show you actually what goes on in a 911 center or whatever, you know, you don't realize. I could not imagine sitting there on the end of the speaker and you hearing that deputy in this fight and then he goes silent. I mean, I've told this story many a times before. I had my county radio before I was elected in the late 90s. Probate Judge Bruce Wright, we grew up together in the same church. He was down off of near High Shoals on 186, and he was down there one night, and he got into a fight with somebody. They lost radio contact with him. It was all I could do to not get up, grab my gun, and take off flying down there because my friend was in distress. And here's a 911 operator going 434, radio 434. It's just a whole silence. You don't know what's happening to that guy. So I praise these operators at the 911 center for what all they do and what all they have to go through. We've been carrying the leadership Walton down there for the last, I guess, 3 years now, and it has really made a world of a difference to just show people what the real life is, because you don't ever get to see the real life. If you don't do it, you don't know it. You just expect it to be there. And you know, it's a genuine job. It all starts right there. And so, thank you. I think that concludes the public safety and all the other departments that we have: HR, finance. Milton is here with finance. Karen's here with HR. Hank's here with public facilities. Rhonda's here with purchasing, and our PIO, Patrice, is here. I brought Miss Betty and Miss Shirley, who's answered the phone diligently for us and directed y'all's calls for the county for a long time. They're here today. Did I forget any other department that is here? I don't want to leave nobody out because I'll get... Carl, how could I forget you hiding over there? The most famous man in 2020 is our EMA director, Carl. Carl, he has... He's come in and hit the ground running. He had a hard time over this last year, but he had done a sensational job just keeping everything going, trying to work for what the federal says, what the state says, and what the locals, just trying to say whether you need to wear a mask, you need to wear hands, or you need to do this, you need to do that. And so, but he's done a good job, as have all of our other departments. Splash pipe projects, we're very proud of those. The 911 upgrades of the towers to keep our system up and going, because we want to be able to get with the technology is fastly changing, and so we will always want to keep that going. Transportation project, John will be doing a lot of roads and bridges. Parks and Recreation, we're building the community center and social circle. We broke ground for that, and then I hope that, well, they got to build one because it's part of the splice that the next community center will be in Walton Grove, and then we broke ground on the fire station down at Hartley Creek. We'll be building it, and the fire improvement facility where they work on vehicles at the roads and bridges, it's there. We're currently doing water line improvements, working with Logan City of Loganville to get them some access to better water, or not better water, but more connections to have it there. And so we'll go all the way over to millage rates now. And so millage rates in the county, that's how we really can control your tax flow. That's I don't understand it, you don't understand it, I don't know whether anybody really understands it. Milton, do you understand the millage rates? I don't know, but the millage rate is really how it comes out to your taxes. But we've tried to maintain through the years to keep our taxes as low as we can do in Walton County and keep the services that you require. Walton County was $36,000 in 1990, $60,000 in 2000, $84,000 in 2010. We will scare 100,000 to death, but I don't think we'll be able to about 94 to 96,000, somewhere around in there at this census once they count, unless they find a bunch of people that didn't count themselves in 2010. You know, that can likely happen this day and time. So, but if you look, the millage rate's 10.65, 677. We did roll the millage rate back this year. And from the looks of the numbers here, I think that Chairman Thompson and the board's going to have a good year going in. I think they'll be able to roll the millage rate back again with the dollars that are there. So I think that'll be a break for the taxpayers. There was even one county, Oglethorpe County, that their numbers, they're small enough that they can get all their numbers and look at them during their budget time. On the county side in Oglethorpe County, they had 0 taxes this year in Oglethorpe County. And so I think the COVID come along, and that was something that they were able to do because they had similar to the same things. They didn't do a lot of the work that spent the budget and such as that. And so I think my smiling face is the last thing you get to see. I would like to thank Shane and Patrice for putting together and Dessa. How can I forget about Dessa? She was sitting right over here. She ran off somewhere. But anyway, putting together a goodbye reception for me next Thursday night at the historic courthouse from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's been a fun time. Walton County's my home. I love Walton County. And when you love what you do and you always do the best you can do. I've always tried to be honest, straightforward. I was talking this morning with someone on the phone, and I told him, I said, you may not like what I tell you, but I'm always tell you the truth. Because if I tell you the truth, I don't have to make back up what I told you the last time. So if you come to see me and I told you something that made you mad, you turn around, went back out, and you thought about it for a while, it was only the truth. And so Walton County's been mighty good to us and my family, and in turn I've tried to be good to everybody. Brag on the county employees, because county employees are the backbone, just like Dr. Franklin, the school teachers are the backbone of the school system. I've had a major problem for a long time because people think the county employees are not worth anything, just the county employees. They really, really do a great job, from all the way from the sanitation workers to the office workers, all the way to public safety, So what I'll do is I am about 21 days from leaving after 20 years. And Neil, I'm going to tell on you just a second. Neil Jackson, he's been a long-time friend of mine. I went to him about 2 years ago, and I said, Neil, how long is too long? he said, well, Kevin, you just really don't never know. As long as things are going well and things are going good, then things will come out. At that time, 2 years ago, I was thinking about that I didn't want to run. I think that I had a good run for it. And Neil, he gave me a couple other pointers and a couple other sentences that I won't discuss, but it was all good. And Neil, I appreciate it. I think that you were one of the boxes that I checked to help me decide that I wasn't going to run. And I basically had about 10 things that helped me decide that I was not going to run again. I felt like that I had carried Walton County as far as I could carry it, and I think it's time for a new day and maybe a new horizon to see what's going on. And with that, I will guess I'll tell all y'all the unbreaking news that you all probably already know. If you don't know, then I'm going to break you the news. As much as I love Walton County and I love what I've done here, I was contacted yesterday by Barra County. Barra County manager resigned last night and Barra County chairman and board of commissioners appointed me interim county manager to Barra County. I'll be starting there on January 1st, so not going too far, just over the Appalachian River, and very excited, very proud that the chairman and the board saw what had gone on here in Walton County, saw the management practices that's been taking place here over the last 20 years, and looking forward to taking my leadership over there and help continue to carry Barra County into the future. Very excited about that, and it's going to be fun times. And as far as I know right now, I'll still be living in Walton County, and I'm going to go ahead and kill this rumor before it gets anywhere. I live in my grandmama and granddaddy's house on Church Street, Good Hope Road, Unicia, whatever you want to call it. My daddy and my granddaddy bought that in 1946 after World War II, and we've lived there on that place forever and ever. I was part of the original design of the Monroe Bypass in 1993. Followed that thing all the way through. We turned it over to the city of Monroe in 2006, and Carl Hofstadter and Associates and all carried it on through. Had no idea that I would lose my house in that thing. So anybody that tells you the one reason I was leaving is because I knew that I was going to get a big payday from Georgia DOT, y'all heard it straight from me. I did not know it. If you would have been out here at the government building in February when they first had the public meeting, and we flipping through there and there's an X right there, and I asked the DOT guy, I said, why is there an X right there? He said, because that house is going to be deleted. And I said, that's my house. And he said, it's got to go. And my brothers were with me, and they said I went ghostly white. So let's squash that rumor now. I had no idea until February of 2020 that I was going to lose my house. And I'll tell you, and then I'll hush Terry, I promise. The reason I got to lose my house is if you go past Carver School, and just as you get to where Unicia and Snow's Mill, the road makes a slight curve, just a slight curve. And my house is up on a hill. They're not going to build a new bypass state-of-the-art road system and not be able to be at grade all the way around to where they can see it. So that's the reason my house will be deleted and took away. But I still hope to live in Walton County and plan on it. But with that, I don't know, do you want me to take any questions? Do you want me to hush if I talk long enough? I will. I'll stay afterwards. Make sure you get a copy of this where next year when it's time to sight your gun in, can you imagine? Look at that. Look at that target right there. That'll look good, or bow or whatever. But I'm going to hush, and thank you all. It's been great.
for everything that you have done for Walton County. We certainly appreciate it. But we hope you still come to Walton County High. I was proud to be one of your first 22 students in your leadership Walton class. You did a great job. We appreciate all your help with that as well. So now I'm going to do the member of the month. This month, our member has several locations in Walton County. They have one in Loganville, one in Monroe. The person making the nomination said, "This member is so special to our community. Employees always meet you with a smile and always willing to go help in any way they can." With the Chamber, this company has employees involved in the board of directors, referral groups, ambassadors. The company has a couple of leadership Walton graduates as well, with one graduating in May of 2018. They were very active attending our meetings and events. In the community, the company has employees active in Rotary, yay Rotary, Kiwanis, and more. We won't hold that against them. They are very generous with their time, allowing the employees to be involved in the community. Our December member of the month goes to Peach State Federal Credit Union. And we are so glad to have Bonnie Haynes on our chamber board and as vice chair of Chamber Resources Division. So let's give, Miss Bonnie's not here today, but let's give.
Oh, she is. She's not here.
Where is she? You're back there hiding. We won't make you walk up the stairs. Thank you so much. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn our program over to Miss Terry.
Hi, everybody. I think I'm kind of like Kevin. I got to come somewhere between Renee and Heather. So I wanted to come up. Congratulations, Bonnie. Thank you for your involvement in Peach State Federal Credit Union support of the Chamber. And I would like for you all to join me in thanking Renee Park for being our chair this year. It's been a strange year, right? But thank you so much, Renee, for your support and serving as chair this year. Thank you to Burrell and Facebook and Piedmont Walton for sponsoring today's lunch. And Kevin, thank you for being our program, and thank you for being our friend, and for all your support of the Chamber and the community and over 2 decades. So thank you so much.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight.
What a great day, what a pretty day it is to be in Good Hope, Georgia, to recognize a great family. It's Palmer family. Grady and Gertrude Palmer is the namesake that actually these are the descendants of them. And this kind of started 6 years ago, but in politics, you know, a lot of things gets hid or lost or forgotten. And when I decided to leave and I was cleaning out my office, I found a letter from Matt Thompson. As y'all know, Eula B. Thompson here in Good Hope, and Matt is his son, and Walton County, to the Walton County Board of Commissioners. Since Lamar Palmer and the Palmers grew up in the Good Hope area, or near the Good Hope Recreation Park off a highway to Bostwick, I respectfully request that the park be named for the Palmers. Respectfully submitted, Matt Thompson II, March 3rd, 2014. So when I found this, I said, it jarred my memory and I wanted to get started on it. So we put all this on the fast track to make this all happen before I got out of office. And We're very excited that to be able, the Board of Commissioners and I, to be able to name this park for the descendants and the three sons and the family of Grady and Gertrude Palmer. And the dedication monument here is going to say Grady and Gertrude Palmer and their three sons were residents of Good Hope and served Walton County. This park is dedicated to this family for their hard work and dedication in making life better. W.D. Palmer was born in 1925. He died in a Georgia Forestry Commission plane crash in 1962. Lamar Palmer, born in 1933, served in the U.S. Air Force during the Korean conflict and later spent 37 years in law enforcement, serving the last 4 as sheriff of Walton County. He also served as county commissioner for 12 years. Harold Palmer, born 1939, served in the U.S. Air Force for 5 years. He received a forestry management degree from University of Georgia and spent the next 30 years working for the U.S. Treasury as a forestry tax specialist. And so that's inscribed right here. We'll be showing that here in just a minute. We didn't get the letters in to get Palmer Family Park across here, but that'll be coming in too. But Lamar, I think I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you talk first, since you're the oldest, and then we'll let Harold say something.
I don't have much to say. I'm a man of few words. In 1949, I think it was, first I want to welcome everybody, please, and thank the commissioners for bestowing this on us. I enjoyed my work with the county, but I got a story to tell you about the land we're standing on. The railroad ran behind the house here, and we farmed this land. This was a cotton patch here. I well remember. We'll get to that in a minute. Across the road was another cotton patch. I was a big baseball player, and Mr. Eula B. Thompson, he was our coach, and you pretty much had to be there on time. So Daddy told me I had to get this patch of cotton weeded before I went to play ball. So me and the horse, we got started. I got on the weeder. It was carried 2 roads and in 1 horse. I got me a little stick, it was convenient, and I'd tap her on the rear end every once in a while, and we went to ride. Well, we done good till Daddy got home. And he said, son, said, you have plowed up every bit of the cotton we got. And the reason I remember, I played baseball with stripes on my legs. Another little story was the house that we lived in had hardwood floors in it, but not the type we used to now. And on the low side of the house, it would have a hole. And that's when you wash the floors with potash and everything. And the water ran to one side and went down under the house. Well, Harold was 3, 4, 5 years old, so I had to mess with him every once in a while like a big brother does. So I gave him some chewing tobacco, beech nut. The last thing I remember, he was over there mouth to mouth with that hole. The next thing I remember was Mama on my back. So just want to welcome my family, my other part of the family, and all the people and friends that I've worked with over the years. You don't know how much you've all meant to me. And I hope I've done a worthy job and deserve what's being bestowed on us today. Thank you, Kid.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Our mother came from Alpharetta, Georgia, and when she was 14 years old, they walked all the way from Alpharetta to Bearden Road. We're on a 55-acre farm, and she said they brought the mules in the wagon with the furniture, and the cows, the dogs, and everything came along, and she does remember spending the night in Snellville, but some other places also. But that was the start of her side, and of course my daddy's people all came from between. But I told my Methodist men friends last night that we had our Christmas party. I said my brother W.D. was the first forest ranger to ever be in Walton County. He then became the first district forester that was a non-graduate of the 10th district out of Washington, which
Walton was a member of. My brother Lamar was 37 years in law enforcement and a county commissioner, and he was well known. And about the only thing that I ever did was I married the prettiest girl that went through the good old high school. Grammar school. But anyway, thank you people for the commissioners. Thank you so much for honoring our family. It means a lot. I remember Lamar talking about the cotton field. I remember Mother laying a cotton sheet over the cotton stalks, and I would play under that. We didn't have fire ants back in those days, and so I remember distinctly that field right over there. And I started to school when we lived in this old house. It's there where the fire station's at now, but we Lamar had a billy goat, and we used to pick what they call roast ears back in those days, but today it's just sweet corn, garden sweet corn, and we would load up Billy in the wagon and corn and go up to Good Hope there and sell a dozen ears of corn for what, 10 cents or 15 cents, something like that, Lamar.
Yeah, water.
Anyway, Good Hope has got so many members for all of us, and thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Well, you got to tell them about your trip in the wagon.
Yes.
He let the goat run away, and it come down here, and Lamar chasing the goat, and the goat was outrunning him, and it got to the fence. The goat jumped the fence, and when Lamar caught up with us, the goat was on that side, and I was on this side. Thank you, Mr. Harold. Mr. Lamar didn't remember the whole story that he said. That cotton that he plowed up, this patch made a bale and a half an acre, and that across the road didn't make but a bale.
Daddy said that's the only whipping he ever gave me. He regretted. I've heard those words before.
But he never got one we didn't deserve, though.
That's right. That's right. I asked him if he got the whooping he got did he deserve, and he said he did. And so, but it's a great day, Mr. Harold, Mr. Lamar. If y'all come around here, and we'll see if we can't pull this off. And then Carrie will get with the be doing the ribbon. Let's get it where we can slide it up. There we go. I'll let y'all two pull that up and pull it off, and we'll hope they got it spelled right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
The Polar Express. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds. Though not of ringing bells, from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. "All aboard!" the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. "Well," he said, "are you coming?" "Where?" "Why, to the North Pole, of course," was his answer. "This is the Polar Express." I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nugget centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forest where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scraped the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren strait of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone on the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves! Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointing to me, he said, "Let this fella here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. He gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus' sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said, but the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at the doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas," he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C." I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I had shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as it does for all who truly believe.